For years, 79 pence per kilowatt hour was the price you were told was fair for public EV charging. It was the bedrock of a stable, if painfully expensive, business for EV charging companies all over the UK: Gridserve, Osprey, Instavolt, Shell, Recharge. Well, that bedrock has already cracked, and their entire business model is on the point of total collapse that was caused by two totally unexpected moves by Tesla. Well, first, Tesla flung open the doors to its supercharger network to non-EVs. But the second, far more serious, Tesla refused to stick to that 79 pence that the CPO industry had monopolised and connived to be the fair price. Gridserve, when they learned that Tesla was opening hundreds of superchargers, told me that they expected them to enter the market just 10 or 15 pence cheaper. They actually expected Tesla to rip off their newfound customers and join in their monopoly, exploiting them. Tesla refused their kind offer and instead set their prices to anyone turning up to charge as low as 34p off-peak. In doing so, they've left behind the smoking gun that proves the 79 pence and above charge is on its last legs. This isn't just a price drop, this is a full-blown price war, and we're right in the thick of it. Well, let's be real. For the longest time, using a public charger has felt like a necessary evil. You pull up, you tap your card, try not to flinch as the pounds and pence rack up faster than the miles. We all got used to seeing eye-watering figures like 77p, 79p, and sometimes even north of 85 pence per kilowatt hour. Well, this just became the accepted norm. Charging networks built their business on it. Their investors poured money into them based on those inflated figures. Their margins were good, and they knew that with high prices and high usage, coupled with a virtual monopoly, they could turn a very nice profit. It was carefully calculated, and we were the ones paying for it. It became a hall of shame for our bank accounts. In the past, providers like Ionti and Osprey were famous for their high prices, for pay-as-you-go rates. This created a two-tier system for EV drivers, those lucky enough to be able to charge at home, and the rest forced to pay a massive premium out on the road. It wasn't just about paying for electricity, it felt like a penalty for daring to drive electric without a private driveway. So just how expensive is the 79 pence per kilowatt hour in the world that we're living in? When you translate it into the language everyone understands, petrol prices, the figures are genuinely shocking. Well, let's do some quick maths. An average family EV gets about 4 miles per kilowatt hour from an EV, while a similar size and spec petrol car manages around 40 miles per gallon. A 1 kilowatt hour does 4 miles, so that's 20 pence per mile driven. And a petrol car driver paying £1.30 a litre, £6.40 a gallon, pays nearer 16 pence per mile. Now imagine the outrage if every petrol station in the country suddenly jacked up their prices to over £1.75 per litre. Now, there are not that many people left paying that 79 to 85 pence, at least I hope not, when there are so many cheaper options all around. By the way, if you are paying 85 pence, what on earth are you doing? And by the way, at 39 pence per kilowatt hour, that's less than 8p a mile, half the price of petrol. That's what EV drivers have been quietly tolerating for years. This high-cost model felt safe for the charging companies, but it was completely unsustainable for drivers. It was a huge barrier for people thinking about switching and a constant headache for the rest of us. But that entire model, that 85 pence plus house of cards, is now collapsing, and Tesla's holding the smoking gun. See, for years, the supercharger network was this walled garden, a brilliant reason to buy a Tesla. It has the largest, most reliable, rapid charging network on the planet, as well as being the cheapest, and its exclusivity was a huge advantage. Then they did the unthinkable. They started opening the floodgates. Well, first it was just a few sites, then a few more, and now a huge chunk, more than half of Tesla's UK supercharger network, is open to any compatible electric car. This one move on its own was not enough to trigger the collapse. But when Tesla dropped those prices for non-Tesla cars to about half what the monopoly had set as their comfortable level, that triggered the chaos we're seeing today. Suddenly, a premium, ultra-reliable network was available to everyone. But it wasn't just access that changed the game. It was the price. Tesla didn't just join the party, it crashed it with aggressive two-tier pricing strategy. There's a standard pay-as-you-go rate and a much cheaper rate if you pay a monthly membership. This wasn't a gentle price cut, it was a direct shot at every other network out there. So what does this new reality look like? Well, the CPO monopoly's first reaction was to do what they always do if they're not making enough money. They just put the prices up again. Osprey went from 69 up in stages to 85. GridServe went from 69 to 79, then to 85. InstaVolt ended up at 82. They dug in and waited to see what would happen. We've now seen what's happening. Their chargers are largely empty. This is the aftermath. On one side, you have the old guard, the monopoly, with pay-as-you-go prices that have stubbornly hovered as high as 85 pence per kilowatt hour. On the other hand, you have Tesla. Their pay-as-you-go rates for non-Tesla drivers can fluctuate between 32 pence and 55 pence, depending on the time and location. That's a huge saving, but the real weapon is the membership. For a monthly fee of $9.99, or you can have a 25% discount and pay £90 for the whole year, and you get the same incredibly low prices as Tesla owners. Suddenly you could be paying between 24 and 34 pence per kilowatt hour at off-peak times. Just let that sink in. In a world where we were told 85 pence was normal, Tesla is offering charging for as little as 24 pence. Well, this has thrown the industry into panic. How can anyone justify charging 85p when a better, faster charger down the road is less than half price? Well, they can't. The 85p business model was built on a captive audience, and Tesla just destroyed that. We're already seeing competitors like Ionity, Fastned, and BV launch subscription plans to bring their membership rates down. Their prices as members range from 53 down to 39 pence. Others just come in at a low price with no membership, like Arnold Clark, 55 pence, and AW Energy, 39 pence. And it's here, 39 pence, the first bus has set their price. There's no guarantee this is permanent, but it's certainly here for now. About half price EV public charging. Now, there were a few hiccups along the way with Tesla, like when in April 2024, Tesla laid off the entire supercharger development team. While the network was still running and being maintained, it cast a shadow of doubt over future expansion, but they quickly took all them back on and have since gone from strength to strength. Most now believe it was just a show of strength, a battle of wills. And second, a new UK regulation that took effect in late 2024 requires all public chargers to offer contactless payment. Since most older superchargers rely on the app, some sites have recently installed a contactless terminal. Not to all chargers, but a single terminal for all of them. When you put your card in, it first asks you to select which bay you're actually parked in. If anyone knows anything about Tesla, then there will be far more wrinkles in the near future, but the outcomes have always been and is promised to be all electric future, better, cheaper and easier. None of this changes the fact that the monopoly prices have been shattered. So how do you, the driver of a Kia, VW or Ford, actually take advantage of this? Well, it's surprisingly simple. If you're visiting one of the newer V4 chargers, one of the white ones, they've already got a screen, a contactless terminal. Just treat them like any other charger. If you find a V2 or a V3, these are the red ones, with one of these new central contactless terminals, just treat them like any other charger. If yours is an old red one and there is no central terminal, you're going to have to use the free Tesla app until one is installed. Download the Tesla app. You don't need a Tesla. Create an account and add your payment details. The app will only show you those superchargers which are open to all EVs. See, many still aren't, and some never will be. But we're going to be launching a video on this subject, how to use the app, how to operate it, how to download it very soon. When you get to an open site, just park, select the stall number in the app, plug in and hit the start charging. It's that easy. The only complication is if you've become a member to get the lower prices. In that case, you must use the app for V2, V3 and V4 chargers to get your additional discount. Is it worth it? Well, about £10 a month. The maths is simple. If you charge a total of about 60 kilowatt hours per month, it's actually a no-brainer. Below that, just stick to normal Tesla prices. They're already pretty cheap. Well, this price war is moving very fast with rates changing all the time. A number of large CPOs like supermarkets have not yet taken the plunge, but when they do, the market will be further decimated. And where will that leave the old guard charging 85 pence? I'm going to leave that for another video because that direction is even more interesting. So now I just want to hear from you. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you're currently paying for your charging. Have you ever tried a supercharger? Open to all. And what was your experience? What price did you pay? Your feedback really helps the whole community figure this one out. So there you have it. The era of 85 pence as an acceptable price, it's over. It's been exposed. By opening its network, Tesla didn't just give us another option, it revealed the inconvenient truth that UK drivers were being overcharged for year after year. The smoking gun's now been found, case is closed. This is a fundamental shift that puts power back in the hands of drivers. It forces companies to compete on price and reliability, the only two things that really matter. While the long-term strategy is a bit cloudy, the short-term outcome is clear. This is a massive win for all of us. The days of getting ripped off at the charger are now numbered. Price war is here, and it's just getting started. I'm Dave.